story of humanity continued its course outside Eden. Adam and Eve, marked by the fall, learned to live among thorns and sweat. They raised their children under the weight of the past and the glimpse of the promise. After the pain of losing Abel and the exile of Cain, Eve had another son, Seth. "God has granted me another descendant in place of Abel," she said. And Seth had sons, and the sons had sons. And so the earth began to fill. As generations passed, two paths began to emerge, those who called upon the name of the Lord and those who followed their own desires. It was in this setting that Enoch was born, a man who walked with God. He did not live like the others. He was not content just to exist. He walked in close communion with the Creator for 300 years, and then Enoch was no more because God took him. A rare and powerful sign. There was still room for closeness with the divine, even in dark times. But not all followed that path. Men began to multiply, and with that came impure alliances, uncontrolled passions, and a growing distance from God. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful and took wives for themselves without wisdom, without restraint. And the earth was filled with violence, pride, and perversion. God saw that human wickedness was spreading like a plague. Every thought, every intention of the heart was continually evil, and it grieved the heart of God. "I regret having created man," said the Lord. A harsh sentence, a deep sorrow. The creation that began with beauty and harmony was now corrupted. Yet there was a man, a single man, Noah. Noah was different, righteous, blameless. He walked with God. In the midst of darkness, his life was a flame, and to him God revealed a plan. "The end of all flesh is determined. I will bring a flood upon the earth to destroy all living things. But with you, I will establish a covenant." God gave Noah detailed instructions. The ark was to have a specific shape, levels, and windows. Cypress wood, coated with pitch. It wasn't just a boat. It was a refuge, an act of faith. And Noah began to build. Day after day, with hammer and obedience. The neighbors mocked him. Rain? Flood? Water had never fallen from the sky like that before, but Noah did not go by sight. He followed the voice, and he built. The animals came, male and female, each species in pairs came to the ark, not by chance but by command. And when everything was ready, God said, "Enter you and your family into the ark." Noah entered, his wife, his sons, his daughters-in-law, and then God shut the door. The waters came, the springs of the deep burst forth, the windows of heaven opened, rain upon rain. The world, once green and alive, plunged into chaos. Mountains disappeared, cities drowned in silence. Only the ark floated. 40 days and 40 nights of judgment, 100 days of waiting, months upon the waters, and then a raven, then a dove. The first time it returned. The second, it brought back an olive leaf. The third, it did not return. The ark came to rest on Mount Ararat, and Noah came out. With his feet on dry ground, his first act was not to explore or to celebrate. It was to worship. He built an altar, offered sacrifices, and God smelled the aroma. A new covenant began there. "Never again will I destroy the earth because of man," said the Lord. And he set the rainbow as a sign. Humanity began again. Noah planted vineyards, and even he, the righteous one, fell. He got drunk, and his sons reacted in different ways. Ham disrespected. Shem and Japheth honored. The human heart remained divided. From his sons came the nations. Peoples spread out. Cities emerged. But with growth also came arrogance. On a plain, men decided to build a tower. "Let us make a name for ourselves," they said. It was the Tower of Babel, a symbol of self-sufficiency. They wanted heaven but without God. God came down, confused their languages, and scattered them. Languages were born, nations were formed, and pride was once again restrained. Amid the scattered world, God looked upon a man, Abram. He lived in Ur of the Chaldeans, an idolatrous city. But God called him, "Leave your land, your relatives, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you a great nation." And Abram believed. He left everything, walked without a map, but with a promise. And that faith changed history. He arrived in Canaan, built altars, worshipped, but he also faced famine, went to Egypt, lied about his wife, was afraid, but God preserved him. Abram grew, became wealthy, separated from Lot, his nephew, and when Lot was captured, Abram rescued him with courage. He met Melchizedek, king and priest, and gave him a tithe. God reaffirmed the promise, "Your descendants will be like the stars in the sky." And Abram believed. And it was credited to him as righteousness. But time passed. Sarah, his wife, was barren. Then came the idea, "Take my servant Hagar, perhaps I can have children through her." And Ishmael was born. But God had another plan, a miraculous plan, and he said, "Sarah will give you a son. You shall name him Isaac." And they laughed at the impossible, but God does not joke with his promises. And finally, at 100 years old, Isaac was born, the son of the promise. Laughter turned into reality. This is the story of the third part, of a world starting over, of faith in the midst of ruin, of a God who continues to speak, to guide, raising up a lineage that would bring redemption. Eden was left behind, but the promise was not.